Hey, what is going on, everybody? I'm Noah Kravitz behind the camera right there. And this is the Google Nexus 5. Oh, it heard me. A phone that's so awesome, I want one, except I don't because there are two things about it that really kind of suck. Find out what after the break. Go. What should you do after a breakup to feel awesome? Well, maybe get a Nexus 5. I don't know. Here's the deal. I've had a Nexus 5 for a couple weeks now. I've been using it as my daily driver. Even though Apple hijacked all my messages when I went from iPhone 5S to the Nexus 5, iMessage, just the iMessage bug, you can look it up. Chris Ziegler did a piece on The Verge like a year ago about it. But yeah, I had to get all my iPhone friends who I talk to regularly to like delete all of our messages and change a setting. It's a big pain in the neck. Apparently it doesn't happen to everybody, but it does happen to some people. But that's not the point. The point is I've been using this daily for a couple weeks now since I switched from the iPhone 5S, and it is an awesome beast of a device, except for this thing right here, the camera. Not acceptable. My problem with the camera is less about the quality of the images, which is, oh, hey everybody, what's going on? Which is okay. It's not the best ever, but it's not, awful. But it's that the camera takes too long to focus and take pictures. And I have missed out on pictures because of this. This picture here is a good example. Taking a picture of reading a book and the person's hand turning the page came out like a giant blur. Now, something that's fast moving, smartphone, it's going to, you can't expect the world, but other smartphones are just a little faster to respond. And I found in situations where you've got like more than one object moving around, like if there's a bunch of kids and you want to get a picture, or a bunch of people moving, but little kids. I was hanging out with some friends over the weekend with little kids, and the camera couldn't keep up and snap the images, and they invariably came out blurry. And it just takes too long, and it's longer than the HTC One I was using before. It's longer than the iPhone 5S, certainly, that I was using just now. Couple that with, camera performance that's I think it's acceptable, but it's certainly not a bragging point. And you've got an issue. Google has already said they're working on software to alleviate the problems. Hopefully they will. I heard something about RAW support, which who cares? I want the camera to focus and to launch, focus, and shoot faster. Burst mode also, I hear they're working on. That would certainly help. But anyway, oh, John Ashton, the original gangster. I was thinking of John Walton, the original Droid Dog, but no, John Ashton, good friend of mine from the Phone Dog days. Happy birthday to you, my man. Aside from that, this phone and the battery life has been a little below average. You can see it's 12:37 p.m. I've used the phone an average amount this morning. I've had a couple calls, some texting, but certainly not on it constantly. And I'm already down to, what is that, like 44%. Battery life on this phone has been noticeably a little bit of an issue. Coming off of an iPhone, certainly, but even compared to other Android phones, the one I would run in power saver mode, and I found it to be plenty of brightness. And the phone battery is definitely lasting longer than this thing, so that's also an issue. It also gets a little hot when I was using it a lot with Spotify in the car. Took a car ride last week. Had to go down to Silicon Valley for some work, and I put the phone on Bluetooth, played a podcast one way and an album, or maybe it was two podcasts, and the phone was definitely hot, before I was home. But all that being said, there are a lot of things that are wonderful about this device. One thing I like a lot is Android 4.4. It's fast, it's slightly refined, little things like, look at how nice the how nice the Spotify home screen widget looks. Just little things like that. They've tightened up the way Android looks. The typography is a little bit nicer. Little things like if you want to deal with your home screen, you can manage it this way. Wallpapers, widgets, settings right there on the home screen. Just a little bit more user-friendly. Again, I like the typography better than in previous versions of Androids. And it's really fast, It's really fast and really smooth. The scrolling has been good. Google Now integration on your leftmost home screen, sort of what HTC did with Sense, but instead of Blink Feed, which I and I think a lot of people found not so useful, Google Now is one of the best things about Android. So great to see that. No longer have a Google Now widget on my home screen because I can just go right over there, which is cool. Let's look at Kindle. Kind of confusing. I've got now like the Google Plus Photos app, but then I've still got the Gallery app from Android. Some things like that that are confusing. Hangouts with SMS is a total mess. I've been using Textra. I'm not 100% sold on Textra, but it was recommended and it gets the job done. Doing SMS and MMS over Hangouts is just an utter mess. It's like they didn't even have a designer in the room when they did the thing. For yourself, because I don't want to show you my text messages. Sorry, I'm not doing this for a living right now. I'm just doing it for fun, so I'm not going to erase all my messages. But essentially, if you have like a hangout going with somebody and you also have a text message with them, it's two separate screens. It's two separate threads where something like iMessage puts it all in one thread and then color codes depending on if you're doing data or internet, if you're using a message or if you're using data. But with Hangouts, it's like I was chatting with my wife when she was at work and it was in one window and then she left and was on her phone and it was like a different window I had to use, just maddening. So I switched to Textra, which is fine for now. I don't know, I may not keep it. But I was going to show you the Kindle app. I've been reading a book and the screen, full 1080p. It's really nice. This isn't the best page because this page is go back to a page, it's a full text page. I'm reading this book, The Squared Circle by David Shoemaker, History of Professional Wrestling. Really good book. You have to kind of be into wrestling, and I'm not admitting to that. I'm just saying, I watched some wrestling when I was a kid. Anyway, text looks good on the page. You can... The scrolling is smooth. Older versions of Android's issues around scrolling, but the scrolling has been very smooth here. Let's go to, let's do a new tab. And we'll go to New York Times. LTE support, there's one device for all the North American carriers. This was officially the Sprint version. I bought it unlocked from Best Buy. It did not come with a SIM removal tool, so I had to use a paperclip. But I can't scroll on this mobile page. There we go, desktop version. Processing is fast, rendering is fast, images look good. The phone does not feel premium like an HTC One or a iPhone 5S made out of metal, but it feels great. It feels very solidly made. Everything feels plastic. The screen feels kind of plastic to me. The device itself, obviously plastic, but like really good plastic. Like this feels like it's durable. It feels like it's in all black. It's certainly sleek enough to fit in anywhere, and they have a white version also. But it feels like it's made to be used. I'm not as worried about scratching it as I would be with a metal phone, and it feels nice in the hand. Very thin, very lightweight, very pocketable for a phone that's, with an almost 5-inch screen. The bezels are very short, so that's good. No problems using Bluetooth, using the 3.5mm headphone jack. It's got a front-facing camera, shoots 1080p video on the back. Again, the camera performance and the battery life, disappointing. Battery life I could live with. Camera performance, I use my camera too much. Can't deal with that. But otherwise, an absolutely fantastic phone. Highly recommended if you can deal with the the camera focus and shoot lag in certain situations, or if you have faith that the software update's going to fix things. But for the money, what is it? $349 direct for 16 gig, $399 for 32 gig direct from the Google Play Store. That's unlocked off contract. You can buy it at Best Buy like I did and pay more, but then you can return it if you don't want to use it. I don't know what the return policy is at Google Play. Or on the carriers now for the subsidized price, I think it's $149. But it's a beast of a phone. It's certainly one of the top Android phones, camera notwithstanding. And it's got KitKat. which no other phone currently ships with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how to put KitKat on my HTC One and see how that works, because between the camera and the boom sound speakers, and I also think I preferred the screen of the One to the screen of the Nexus 5, but it's pretty close. The Nexus 5 looks really good. It's just the feel of the One was a little bit nicer. But this is a heck of a phone. I think it's the best Nexus phone Google's ever made. It's certainly, it's still a thing marketing-wise. I wrote a piece about who's going to buy the Nexus 5. I still don't know who's going to buy the Nexus 5 because I don't think it's positioned. I don't think they did a good job of positioning it in the market. But that said, if you do buy it, you're getting a whale of a phone at a cheap price. There you go. My name's Noah, Nexus 5. See you later. Goodbye.